Hey guys, Marsing here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so at the time of recording, Global is still in maintenance. I think it has actually just been extended by an hour. So this video is going to get put up as soon as it's finished and rendered and all that kind of stuff. So by the time you watch it, if there hasn't been any further delays, we're still looking at just over an hour until the global maintenance finishes. That should come with the data download like built in. Like once the maintenance is over, there should be extra files to install and then all the stuff will be there. I don't think we're going to have the maintenance finish and then there's like a data download separately, since we are going to be cutting it close to the time that the banners are due to release. So this video, as always, I do these before banners come out, discussing whether you should summon or skip based on, you know, everything that's going on in the landscape of the game. And as a dual celebration on both versions at the same time, the scenarios are very, very different for Global and JP. So these are the images of the banner art from the JP data download. I talked about this in the video that I put out yesterday, speculating about what the banner lineups were going to look like. Not just for JP, because obviously this doesn't show all of the units, but also for Global, considering that the big difference is that Goku's banner has STR Kid Buu, and then Cell's banner has physical Super Saiyan 2 Goku, and of course Global is not going to have those because, you know, the dual Dokkan Fest that just finished on Global. In fact, before the maintenance started, I believe the banners were actually still up, so no way they are going to be on the banners. So to start off with, for JP, obviously the fact that the Goku and Kid Buu return is a pretty awesome incentive for you to summon on the banner. Now obviously, because the units are returning for the first time, it means you are able to buy them with red coins, so you don't necessarily have to summon in order to try and get these two new units. They both are very good. A long time ago, I used to always say that red coins really should only be saved for Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs, but now that we're getting more of them and they're starting to come back on more banners, because remember, well, back when there were very few Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs, as in, you know, the only LRs you can buy with red coins, when there weren't that many of them, they didn't come back as often, right? It was only on big celebration banners and stuff, whereas now we are starting to see them come back a little bit more regularly. So whilst they are still probably the most valuable option for red coins, because they are very often, you know, the best units in the game, some of the best TURs in the game are also going to be worth red coins as well. So Goku and Kid Buu, I would say, definitely are TURs that fit into that being worth red coins kind of bracket. You know, right now on Global, they're the two best TURs in the game until Cell and Goku come out, of course. Cell is like basically Kid Buu, but slightly better and easier to get to his full build-up, because he doesn't have to get hit a whole bunch of times. You just have to go through the turns and then transform. And then the Goku and Gohan, when compared directly to Super Saiyan Goku, or at least Super Saiyan 3 Goku, right? Like once you've exchanged into Gohan and you've got Gohan fully built up and he's been hit a bunch of times, so he's got his permanent guard and all that. When you compare the two units directly, Gohan definitely is going to be better defensively, in the sense that not only is he going to tank Supers better, but you can put him in slot 1, whereas obviously this Goku gets a lot of defense on Super and Supers multiple times, so he's much better in slot 2. So Gohan is going to be a better defensive unit, whereas obviously this Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I watched a Rainbow Level 10 Link showcase for Gohan. When he's fully built up, he does hit the kind of numbers that Super Saiyan 3 Goku will hit with one of his super attacks. But then remember that Goku can super attack up to 4 times, and especially after you've just transformed, has a 70% chance to crit, and then even after that wears off, it still only goes down to 50%. So in terms of damage output, obviously this Goku is going to be way better than STR Gohan, but Gohan is going to be better defensively. Now, they obviously do share some categories. This Goku isn't on the new Goku and Gohan team in terms of the 200% lead, but obviously one of their leader skills is Goku Family, so he can be run on their team under a full 170 lead, and he is still very good. Obviously, you know, everyone before the anniversary, including global players right now, used him on the 170 team when he first came out, and he's very, very good. So big draw, him and Buu being on the banners. Buu is obviously still very, very good as well. He is not on Cell's team at all, in fact. He's not under any of his categories, so you can't run him on Cell's team. But obviously he is still a very, very good unit, still one of the top TURs even on JP. When we eventually get a 200% leader for him, especially if it is like a new unit that links up really well with him, like a standalone GOHAN or something, he is going to be back to being absolutely incredible. But obviously currently he can only be run under a 170 lead on JP, but he is still very, very good. So that's like the big draw for summoning, obviously, aside from the fact that, you know, you're summoning for the new units. So the other big thing, of course, for JP is JP does not have any form of foresight. We've talked about recently how that has kind of degraded over time for Global, what with them releasing celebrations out of order, changing banners and stuff like that. Whereas JP, you don't have that at all. So it's kind of a case of you can't determine whether you want to summon based on what's going to come up next. Now, the only thing you do have to think about, of course, is that after this Dual Dokkan Fest celebration is over, this celebration will pretty much take up the whole of May, and then we're going to have June, July Global has their anniversary, and then August is when the worldwide download celebration starts. So between now and the next really big celebration for JP, there's a good few months, but obviously the problem is we have no idea what's going to release in between now and then. We've had very differing Dokkan Fests released on JP since the anniversary. Obviously, Ginyu, super busted, still considered by some people to be the best TUR in the game. And then, of course, Raditz came out and is like the biggest meme in the last few years in terms of Dokkan Fests. He's awful. So very opposite ends of the spectrum, and of course that means between now and the next big celebration for JP, we could see another unit on the level of Ginyu come out. Hopefully we won't see another unit on the level of Raditz. So in terms of summon or skip, if you're on JP, it's just a case of, I would say the units are worth summoning for because they are really good. The banners aren't necessarily great outside of having Kid Buu and Goku, so there is that extra little bonus there for JP players, but obviously it's just going to be a case of, you know, saving for the worldwide celebration if you're free to play or you don't spend a lot. Remember last year, Namek, Goku and Full Power Frieza came out and pretty much immediately were the new best units in the game. I mean, obviously that is the trend of gacha games, right? Like the next big celebration, probably going to be the best units in the game. So if you want to summon for Goku and Cell, they are going to be some of the better units on JP at the time, like for the time being. But obviously if you're someone who doesn't spend a lot or doesn't spend at all, how many stones are you going to be able to build up by the next big celebration? That's obviously always the big question when it comes to JP. Now, for the global players out there, obviously we're not going to have Kid Buu and Goku on the banner. Check out the video, like I said, I did yesterday or last night or earlier tonight, I guess, depending on where you are, about the what the banner lineups are potentially going to be. But what you need to consider on global is looking at your box and the units that you already have, what kind of teams can you make? Like, how worth it is it for you to pull these characters? Because Goku and Gohan, their 200% team is not very good. Their main leader skill, Goku Family and Super Saiyans, 170 across the board. In terms of a 170 leader skill, like if 200% leads didn't already exist, that would probably be hands down the best leader skill in the game. Arguably, I guess, maybe, right? Because Pure Saiyans, there's some really good Pure Saiyans units that aren't on either of those two categories. But even so, like that combination, that team is insane. But their 200% team is not that great, because the extra 30% is to Android/Cell Saga, which then hugely limits the Goku Family and Super Saiyan units that you can actually pick to bring. And then Cell, his 200% team is pretty wild. It's almost every single android in the game, because it's Android/Cell Saga and then Power Absorption, and then the extra 30% is to androids. So most of the androids are in Android/Cell Saga, and then pretty much all the ones that aren't, like Super 17, Android 21, they are Android 13, they are in Power Absorption. So his 200% team is really, really good. And the way you should be looking at things from a global perspective, and this is what we kind of talked about with Saiyan Day as well, is that 200% teams are going to be the new meta. When global gets to the anniversary, we're obviously going to see the release of the Red Zone, which is the new hardest event in the game. The first couple of stages come out before the actual banners drop for the LR Super Saiyan 4s and the LR Gods. So obviously if you have a 200% team already, you're going to find beating those first few stages way, way easier. So what we need to look at in terms of global is the timeline of what's going to be going on between now and like the anniversary, because that is the big one, right, that everyone's saving for. So Kid Buu and Goku, this is the timeline on JP. So these guys came out, we got all these easy A's. This was in December, and then when we moved into the first part of January, we just got these extra like awakenings and easy A's. So global is fully caught up on this. And then the anniversary for JP obviously started in January. We started getting the release of like the free-to-play units. Then we had the big main banners with the 2 LRs. Then as we moved into February, we still in the anniversary, we got a bunch of the Easy A's. We got the Part 2 LRs, got the LR Easy A's and all the like final awakenings for the free-to-play units. And then we moved into March, which is where the anniversary officially was over. And then we got the release of Captain Ginyu. So Captain Ginyu is going to come out on Global before the anniversary. So as I said at the beginning, this celebration is going to go on pretty much for the whole of May. And then Captain Ginyu is going to be the June Dokkan Fest for Global. So another thing to factor in with the anniversary being the thing that you should be thinking about in terms of whether you summon, you know, very much before then or not. Not only do you have this Goku and Cell dual Dokkan Fest to contend with, but then Ginyu comes out before the anniversary. And Ginyu is a very, very good unit. His 200% team, Terrifying Conquerors or Planet Namek Saga, and then the extra 30% to Space Traveling Warriors. That team is ridiculous and has some incredibly good units on it. So his team is super good. He's a bit limited himself, right? Because his team is where he's going to look like the best TUR in the game. On other teams, he's still going to look very good. And he does need a Ginyu Force ally on the team with him. But of course, his banner not only brings 2 side banner units of Ginyu Force who are really, really good, but we also get the Easy A for the physical LR Ginyu Force, and they become really good as well. So Ginyu is one of those units that you have to consider. For a lot of people, if you're free to play or don't summon very much, I'll obviously do a separate video once we get to the release of Ginyu, because the landscape of the game will have changed slightly. But Ginyu is probably a massive skip, right? Like, if you're on Global and you're free to play and you've been saving for the anniversary, Ginyu is a skip for sure. It's just this dual Dokkan Fest that is so tempting because the units are very, very good. So after Captain Ginyu came out, we move on down here. That's when we had Saiyan Day, and then we're actually super close to JP. Captain Ginyu and Raditz are the only like Dokkan Fest units we don't have that JP has, because we obviously had Saiyan Day at the same time. So we're going to have this dual Dokkan Fest now. It goes through May. Then we're going to have Captain Ginyu. Then we're going to have the anniversary. And then we're going to get Raditz, who is probably going to be a huge skip because he's so bad, unless they actually do decide to buff him on Global. The only thing that could happen is the Part 2 LR, which is Goku and Piccolo. They might come out as the Part 2 of the Ginyu celebration, because that's what happened last year. We got the Dokkan Fest before the anniversary, and then Tapion and Minosha came out right before the anniversary. And they came out on JP in this time slot. So that could happen as well, but I mean, they're a huge skip. Like, they are a fun unit, and they're actually very good, but they're very limited. They're like Saiyan Saga, like, they're the LR that's going to drop right before the anniversary, and they're not as good as the anniversary LRs, so no point really going for them. So the thing you have to ask yourself as a Global player, obviously the units themselves, the Gods and the Super Saiyan 4s, are incredibly good, but what you have to ask yourself is more about the team building, and this is why I said when we moved on to the topic of Global, it comes down to what's in your box, right? Because these 2 units are incredible. I don't think anything is going to release before the anniversary. I mean, it's literally just this Goku and Cell, right? Or Goku and Gohan and Cell. Nothing else we know about that's going to release before the anniversary can be compared to these units in terms of how good they are as the unit themselves. But the thing you have to think about is their teams. Now, obviously, the banner for the Super Saiyan 4s has so many good units. It has like the LR Super Saiyan 4s that get an Easy A during the anniversary. So even if you don't have a really good GT Heroes team already, if you've been saving up all your stones and then you just go ham on these guys' banner, by the time you're done, you probably are going to have a pretty good GT Heroes team. And then, of course, their secondary is Fused Fighters, so this includes, like, Gogeta's, Super Saiyan 4, or otherwise, as long as they have Kamehameha, going to be on the full 200% leader skill. Their team is incredibly powerful. Remember, it's Fused Fighters as well, not Fusion, which is this category is so great. It's all of the Fusion Dance and Potara units. So like you can run a rotation of the STR LR Vegito and Tech LR Gogeta on this team with the 200% leader skill. Very, very powerful. And then the LR Gods, their leader skill beyond Super Saiyan. This is every single Super Saiyan character that is above Super Saiyan 1. So every single Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan God, and Super Saiyan Blue are on this category. So in terms of leader skill, these guys are absolutely insane, right? Like if you are on Global, if you want to have one really crazy 200% team that's going to be able to beat like all of the future content, this is the LR you want to pull, because their 200% team is absolutely crazy. So that is the main thing you have to think about between now and the anniversary. Like, Ginyu is a good unit, but I think for a lot of people it's probably just a skip. His value is definitely lowered if you don't pull the Jace and Berta or the Raccoon and Guldo from his banner, because he really needs that extra Ginyu Force unit. Obviously, you can get the Easy A for the free-to-play physical LR Ginyu Force, but again, if you're a free-to-play or a newer player, how many times, like how long have you been beating Battlefield? Because the Easy A medals for the LR Ginyu Force cost a lot of Battlefield memories. So Ginyu is probably a skip for most people. So then it just comes down to between now and the anniversary at the beginning of July. That's not a huge amount of time to build up more stones if you are completely free to play. So what I would say, while Cell's 200% team is going to be really, really good, it is essentially still just an Android's team. So if your Android's box is not very heavy, then this team is not going to be all that crazy outside of Cell himself, of course. And then there are a ton of other units, obviously, that make the team very good. And then these guys, not only are they very good themselves, their 200% team, don't get me wrong, it has some great units on it. Like, their 200% team will be very, very good, but it's kind of limited, right? Like, if you don't have the 6, 7, or 8 like specific units that will form the best possible team under that 200% leader skill, then the team will be lacking a little bit. But as I said, their 170 leader skill is really, really good. So as always with these kind of videos, it comes down to, like, if you are somebody who does spend or you just love the characters, you're probably going to summon anyway. But if you're free to play or you don't spend a lot, it's probably going to be a skip without having, obviously, with the fact that Kid Buu and Goku aren't on there. Now, we potentially will get the first set of 3+1 summons discounted, because that's what we got last year. So it might be worth trying one of the 2 banners, because you're going to end up getting 4 multis for, I think it's like 120 stones after the discounts. So if there's, you know, one of the 2 that you really want more, the Goku or the Cell, maybe try the 120 stone, like, discounted step up. But other than that, it's probably going to be a skip for free to play or low spending players, because honestly, the banners in total are not going to be great on Global without the Goku and Kid Buu. We're probably going to get units thrown on there like Tech Kale and Caulifla, who are pretty good, but I know they're not super popular. Super Vegeta could make his way onto there, and that would be good. But yeah, these banners are not going to be super great. Now, if we find out later in the celebration that AGL, Gohan, and Incel are getting their Easy A's, that's going to be awesome. But if you don't have them already, I wouldn't probably summon on the banner just to get them. So let me know what you guys think down below. Whether you're on JP or Global, what are your thoughts? Are you going to be summoning? I will be summoning. I will be live as soon as the banners are out. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell so you know to go live. Join the Discord, the link's down below, or follow me on Twitter, any of that stuff. I always post across all of my social medias when I'm actually going live. And hopefully I will see you guys there for the summons, because obviously, I want to pull at least 1 copy of both so I can actually start making videos on their 200% team. You guys know I'm a huge Androids fan. This man right here is a 200% leader for the King, Super 17, and the Queen, Android 21. So absolutely can't wait. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.